Coming Down is proudly sponsored by Colorado Ganja Gear, high-quality, artistically inspired herb grinders. So let me tell you, these things are great. I actually own one. My favorite part is the perfect consistency you get after grinding. Some grinders just pulverize your herb into dust, but the razor-sharp teeth and smooth action on these always leave you with perfect, fluffy, evenly ground herb. The craftsmanship is top-notch, made from aircraft-grade aluminum to guarantee you won't get metal shavings mixed into your herb. But the best part, truly, is each grinder features original artwork created by Colorado artist Lori Beatty. She creates unique mandalas that are laser-etched into each magnetic lid. And each grinder comes in a silk bag and has free shipping. So just go to etsy.com/shop/Colorado Ganja Gear and enter the code COMINGDOWN in all caps for $5 off, or go to the show notes for this episode and follow the link. Thanks and enjoy the episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coming Down. My name is Matthew. I'm joined here by my co-host Nathan.
Hey folks, how's it going?
We also have a guest here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Meg Noel.
Hey, yeah, welcome. So, you're here because you weren't going to be here.
No, yeah, I kind of flew out to Portland for a grand old time, and due to some recent developments, I'm now stuck here.
Yep. Yeah, so you came out last Wednesday, and you're going to do a whole little Pacific Northwest tour, culminating in a show up in Seattle. And the day you flew in, that show got canceled.
Yeah, and then everything else quickly got canceled after that.
Right, as we've all been paying attention to the news cycle, just everything's canceled and closed.
Yeah.
And God, it's fucking weird.
They're shutting down the world out there.
Yeah. But we were going to do a hypothetical this week, but we decided to not, so we could do an intro and just sort of give our virus update, because that's kind of all that's being talked about right now.
Seriously. Yeah, all the shows for the theaters obviously got canceled last week, but I am still working. I have to ride the bus in every day, at least for now.
Yeah.
Until this evolving situation develops, you know.
Yeah, I'm guessing that won't last too much longer.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're probably going to get a little staycation here coming up.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
My boss is convinced that that's where we're at, so.
Yeah, it makes sense. And even at my job, and we're just sort of an office, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just close the office soon and just say, like, fuck it, you know what?
Right.
Like, let's just not have anyone do this right now.
Yeah, batten down the hatches.
Yeah, so, anyway, have you enjoyed your time in Portland regardless?
Yeah, I mean, given everything that has happened, I've had a great time here.
We haven't done fuck all. Like, sat around, did puzzles and stuff, but...
Right.
Yeah, I got to a museum and the Japanese gardens.
No, you did make it to the art museum the day before they shuttered their doors.
Wow.
We were going to try and go to OMSI and see Body Worlds, and then that canceled. So, yeah, every plan we've made just keeps getting kind of derailed.
Yeah, you have plan A, plan B. I think I'm down to, like, plan J at this point in time.
Yikes.
But yeah, for real.
You do what you can do.
But, update for everyone. We're doing fine. We're safe and healthy here.
Still feeling good.
And I hope that is the case for all our dear listeners. Everyone stay safe. Wash your hands.
Gotta recite your litany to fear.
Nope.
Or wait, litany against fear. Jesus.
Yeah, that's correct. Oh, man. But, I don't know, man. There's not, I don't want to spend a ton of time just talking virus shit, because we're all sick of it, but...
Absolutely. I know. That was our conversation on the way over, is like... I'm fucking tired of talking about it. Now let's talk about it for the rest of the time that we're together.
Yeah, I know. It's just so dominating right now. And,
right.
Yeah, and it even feels dumb to bitch about it. Of like, oh, geez, I'm sick of this already. And, like, people are fucking dying out there.
Well,
so,
yeah. For sure.
But it is just super stressful. Like...
Yeah, man. I mean, we're behind the curve, and our trajectory is looking a lot like Italy's right now. So
right.
It's, there's some cause for concern.
Yeah, totally. But hopefully, for all of you who have some spare time, and while you're sitting around doing puzzles, throw on this podcast.
Yeah,
maybe you got some time to catch up.
Right. For sure.
Yeah, we're gonna still keep trying to put out episodes every week. I see no reason why the two of us can't get together. That is not a gathering of 10 or more.
Right. Well, and even if one of us gets sick, like, we've got the hypothetical episode that you can just fire off if need be. So.
Yep, totally. Yeah, and we got some stuff in the bank, so maybe we'll do, if we have to do some single intros, some not together intros if
Oh,
you can't
God.
get together.
No,
I'll have you record something and send it over to me. I'll patch it in.
splice it in. I love
Yeah.
it.
Or I guess we could test Skype recording for the first time ever.
Wow,
I know.
New Horizons. We're like trying to greet the future here, coming down.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, work from home,
Right?
podcast from home.
Yep.
Yeah. We've got a phone in.
Right?
Yeah, the lines are open. Oh, and it's our co-host Matthew.
Yep. Do the telethon
Yeah.
telethon episode.
Love it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so non-virus related, I do want to pour one out for Genesis P. Orridge, who passed away today.
Absolutely.
For those who don't know, they were kind of a pioneer in England doing very avant-garde experimental music back in like the 70s and 80s, and continued just to have a huge body of work, I mean, right up until they passed away. God, yeah, Psychic TV was such a clutch band. Like, you don't have Negative Land without, Psychic TV and Throbbing Gristle paving the way. I mean,
yeah.
Throbbing Gristle also paved the way for a lot of industrial bands too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Genesis made it to 70 years old, so that's a good run, but it's still sad to see a legend go, so
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah. But yeah, just wanted to pour one out for them, because Jesus. Definitely go check out some Psychic TV.
Hell yeah. There's a great cover of Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun. If you're looking for a place to dip your toes in.
Yeah, totally. The album Trip Reset is probably the most accessible of their stuff, so start there and then you can branch out. But yeah, you even just hop on Spotify and they have like 50 albums or something.
Good God.
Yeah, I mean, the body of work is huge, because they used to just put out something that they called like an electronic newsletter or electronic newspaper, and so they just put these out every month, and just all variety of things like pop songs and sound collages and everything in between. So
That's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Yeah, other than that, man, I don't have any news. It's been pretty boring around here.
Yeah, I've I self-isolated this weekend and
Yeah.
played Half-Life. Well, not Half-Life. Black Mesa, which is the fan-made HD remake of Half-Life.
Oh, nice.
And
Hell yeah.
it's been very rewarding.
Oh, I bet. I'd like to see more stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Take some of these old games, because I never played Half-Life, but I heard it's great. But now I wonder if it's a little aged,
The content has aged very well. It's actually like still pretty relevant, like some of the political commentary and like some of the
Oh, right on.
yeah, just the way that they interact with the military and stuff like
Okay.
that. It's great. And that was actually the only real problem with the original game is like, yeah, the graphics were great for when it came out, but it was one of the very early 3D shooters, and like, man, even with some of the updates that Valve did, like, it still kind of hurts your eyes. So
Oh, yeah.
like this, it's not like photorealistic by any means, but way easier on the eyes and looks really great in a lot of
right
places
on.
too. So
Hell yeah, that's cool. It's funny picking up old games sometimes. Like, several years ago, one of the roommates brought home a 64, and we were so thrilled. We were like, oh shit, yeah, dude, we were gonna play some fucking GoldenEye, and none of us could play. Like,
Yeah.
the controls were so different, and the graphics were so bad, and we're all just running into walls. None of us can even hit each other. We're just running into rooms, and we're not killing anyone.
Yeah.
Just like, damn, I guess we kind of aged out of this game. Like,
Well,
it's just so different.
yeah, and that's the thing. Early 3D graphics fucking blew, dude.
Yeah.
I'd much rather play a pixel game because they were just fucking still pretty cool to look at.
Right. Well, plus the controls. I mean, the shooters back then were not the dual stick like we have now, And GoldenEye 64 was one of the first games that you could dual stick, but you plugged in two controllers. Because remember, they only had the one joystick,
Right.
and then the yellow buttons that you would kind of look around with. But if you plugged in two controllers, then you had dual stick and dual trigger
Oh,
controls.
I never even saw that. That's fucking crazy.
It was the way to play.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, if you want the GoldenEye experience, but with graphics that won't make your eyes bleed, there's a source mod, so you can play that. You can just straight up play GoldenEye, but it's got up to date fan created graphics.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I mean, like, for some of it, they just fucking mapped, like, real people from the James Bond movies onto models, so.
What a fun world we live in now.
No doubt.
Played Dark Souls as Captain America.
Oh, yeah. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I love it. All right, man. Well, I think that's a good update, a good viral update here.
We're still alive, and thank you for joining us.
I didn't have much choice. No, thank you guys for having me.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Nate have done this several times now.
Yeah,
Not our first time.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time, so it's been good having you out here. And yeah, I guess you're going to be back when, fucking your show gets rescheduled and
yeah, hopefully in 6 months Bikini Kill will re-announce their shows, and maybe next time I'll fly into Seattle and drive down the coast and end up here.
There you go. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Get the full experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good call just nixing the whole Seattle bit of the journey, because
I didn't want to end up being stuck somewhere.
it does feel like they could close that airport at any time.
And
Yeah, Washington's got a lot more shit going on than we do.
yeah,
Right.
at least if I get stuck here too. I mean, I'm in good company, and
Yeah, totally.
we'll do what we have to do. We've gotten through stickier situations than this, so
For sure. Well, man,
Yeah, let's wrap it up. So, if you would like to check out our mothership, that is at comingdownpod.com, and there you can find links to all of our other platforms, as well as links to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/comingdownpod. Thank you so much to everyone who's already donated. We cannot thank you enough.
oh yeah, and don't
yeah, I'm a Patreon.
Hell yeah.
yeah,
So-
don't let me forget to give you shirts and stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll take those.
In fact, yeah, we'll do that right after we record this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And if you want more swag, just hit us up. You can hit us up at comingdownpod@gmail.com or at comingdownpod on Twitter. We would love to hear from you. You can also hit
Yeah,
us
and just let us know how you're all doing too.
yeah, absolutely.
Just want to hear from people, know everyone's staying safe and sane.
Seriously. And if you'd like to be on the show, definitely hit us up there. Other than that,
That's it, man.
yeah, let's go. We've discussed that I started selling weed in high school, and it wasn't really a conscious decision to begin with. It was mostly just contingent upon my possession of a vehicle.
Yeah. It usually is happenstance sort of thing of like, well, I have money to buy quantity and my friends want it and I know I can sell it, so I guess we're doing this.
Yep, pretty much. And so I didn't even, it's fucked up. Like, I didn't even have any motivation to get my license when I was 16, just because I had asked my parents, when I was younger, probably starting at like 13 or something, like, hey, because I'd see like on TV, on sitcoms, parents would buy cars for their kids.
Yeah.
And, the rich kids, it was always about what kind of car they got, And so after watching some fucking early 90s sitcom, I, asked my folks, like, hey, when I turn 16, would you guys be down to buy me a car? And I think my dad just kind of laughed and was like, yeah, I had to buy my own car when I was a teenager, so I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen for you. And so that's just kind of what I went on, just thinking, well, I am never going to have enough money to buy a car, so
Yeah.
why even bother?
Guess I'm never going to have a car.
Yeah, and so I did driver's ed and stuff, but I just never even tried to get a license.
Yeah.
Driver's ed was a requirement for my high school, so
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, it's
You must have been in that last year where they still had it.
We still had auto shop, wood shop, metal shop, driver's ed,
Whoa.
personal finance, home
Whoa.
ec,
Real
like,
classes you'd want.
Yeah, exactly. We still had all the vocational stuff, as well as like, here's how you balance a checkbook and shit.
My God.
Yeah, I know. I was maybe the last fucking graduating class that had that all the way through.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I just turned 17 or something like that. Maybe it was just before I turned 17. I don't remember. But I think my mom was just kind of sick of having to drive 4 kids everywhere.
Yeah.
As well as, my 2 youngest siblings were involved in sports and ballet and gymnastics and, like, you name it. That was kind of their outlet, was doing a bunch of different after school kind of stuff, so that they didn't have to be home with my fucking parents all the time.
Yeah.
And because of that, my mom was constantly driving all over the place. Plus she took care of all the groceries and, like,
True soccer mom.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, she took care of pretty much all the errands for the family. And so after work, she was essentially driving constantly from the time she left work until the last extracurricular activity was over. And I think it was starting to, like, drive her a little crazy, because sometimes she'd just go on autopilot and we'd end up parked in the parking lot of the ballet studio. And that is not where we were going.
Oh, no.
She's just like, oh shit, I spaced out.
It's like, which kid am I picking up now?
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's like, we're going to church, Mom. It's Sunday. Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Damn.
Thank you, Mom. But so I think part of, my dad pushing me to get my license was the notion that they would have another driver in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's usually the thing, right? You
Yeah.
get the oldest a car, but then they gotta do a couple pickups and drop-offs for the younger kids.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I think they'd finally figured this out.
Yeah.
And, like, that wasn't something that was on their radar back when I was like, were you going to buy me a car? And, like... Anyway, so my dad's like, one day, he's like, what is wrong with you? You're a teenager. Why aren't you driving yourself around? And I'm like, well...
You're like, yeah.
are you going to buy me a car? And he's like, actually. And
Yeah.
he'd found an 83 VW GTI in the newspaper, and he'd called the owner, and she only wanted $500 for it. It was
Nice.
running, but she said it was leaking a lot of oil. And for those of you who are interested in Volkswagens, this was the last year of the GTI, which is essentially a Rabbit that was more of a race car. It was the last
Yeah.
year that the GTI had an air-cooled engine, and it also had fuel injection. So it was really light and also really quick and fuel efficient. So it was hell on wheels for a teenager
Hell
in their
yeah.
first car, And we picked it up and took it into the shop, and my dad was like, she says it's leaking oil. We think it might be the head gasket, I'm like, oh no, that's right. We took it home at first, and he had already bought a new head gasket for it, and it was going to be this whole, like, I'm going to teach you how to spin wrenches thing, and, like,
Oh, yeah.
took the head off, and the gasket underneath it was clean. So we put it right back on and took it into the shop, and the mechanic said, yeah, I put a 50-cent screw in it. There was just like...
Oh, just like...
Yeah, it was
Had
just
a bad screw.
Yeah, it was just a hole that should have a screw in it, or a sensor or something, right underneath the oil pan. It was just leaking oil.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, put that screw in, ran perfectly for
Beautiful.
the rest of the time that I had it. Yeah, and so yeah, I got a car, and my dad got a screaming fucking deal on it. It was probably worth at least $2,000 Blue Book.
Yeah, the owner just let it go because she was worried about the oil leak.
Yeah, she was like, I don't know how to fix it. I'm putting like a quart of oil a week in it.
Whoa.
And she just figured it was fucked.
Wow.
But the mechanic figured it out right away.
Yeah, mechanic special, as they call it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was in love with this car, and there was
What color was it?
oh, that was the other thing. It was red inside and out.
Whoa, red
Yeah.
interior and
Yeah.
red paint job.
I mean, like,
Sick.
just a speeding ticket waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a lot of fucking tickets in that car.
Oh no.
And I was an idiot too, because I thought that like bumper stickers were cool and like window stickers were cool. So I had like Grateful Dead and mushrooms, and
Right? Dude.
plenty of shit. And then I saw this one that I just thought was cool, but I didn't understand what it meant. And I put it on my bumper, and it said "Busted by the Fuzz."
Dude.
I don't know if I could have put a dumber bumper sticker on my car.
It's like in that in David Cross's book, he talks about having a bumper sticker that says I love dogs, but he crossed out love and wrote fuck, and just said like cops would just pull him over all the time. But yeah, and and in Colorado, at one point in time, and I've never verified this, but this was the word on the street amongst the hippies and the ravers and whatnot, that a Grateful Dead sticker was probable cause to pull you over. That's all they needed.
Oh, shit.
And they could cite that in court and say, like, they had a Grateful Dead sticker, therefore.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So not a good move.
Absolutely. And so, anyway, because I had a car, and I did have to drive my siblings around fairly regularly, at least, like, take my sister home from school if we were both leaving at the same time, until she got a car. But then one of the dudes that I knew at school that we would sometimes get weed through, like, he wasn't selling per se, but any spare cash that he had, he would like kind of try to scrape some together and like have some to sell so that he could smoke more, etc.
Right. Like you do.
But his main thing was just like getting a bunch of people who wanted bags lined up, getting their money, and then like trying to pool as much of it as possible to get a larger quantity.
Yeah, get a break on a...
Yeah, and then either like pinch some from every bag or like just have enough together that he could get some for himself.
Get his price break on the ounce and then pinch a half a gram from every
exactly. And like nobody really cared about the finder's fee because it was never more than like a bowl.
Yeah, totally.
He was always pretty conscientious about it, and it was not implicit but understood. You know? So anyway, this kid, we'll call him Dan. He like found out that I had a car, and one day was like, "Hey man, what are you doing at lunch?" And I was like, "Fuck, I don't know, probably just hanging out." And he's like, "Well, you got a car, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, well, I was gonna go get a sack. Like, I'll totally kick you a bowl if you want to give me a ride."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, sweet." And so this happened a couple of times that week, and like my friends were kind of pissed. They're like, "What the fuck, man? You bailed on us." And I'm like,
"Oh, because you're not kicking it at lunch?"
Yeah, exactly.
You're running out getting stoned with this other dude.
Exactly. And I'm like, "Well, I got free weed." And they're like, "Okay, well, so free weed's more important than hanging out with us. I see how it is." And I'm like, "Shut up, dude. Here, smoke a bowl."
Yeah.
All right, now I feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, here, you can share the fruit of my the fruit of my successes.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not holding out on you, man. Like, I'm just trying to capitalize on my resources here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I also tried to tone it down so I wasn't like going every single fucking day, because not only is that a pain in the ass, and yeah, I'd be ditching my friends to just hang out with this dude, but also because fuck, sometimes we'd go to the first place and they didn't have anything, and so like we'd go to another place and so on. Sometimes I'd miss a whole fucking period just because we're like trying to like go through his list from like most likely to least likely, because he's got other people's money.
Right.
Anyway, there were times when it got fucking sketchy.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I remember those runarounds and all those hustles, man.
End up going to some fucking tweaker house and like worried about getting killed and shit.
Right. Yeah, that was always the worst too, when like you're safe dudes, like the first couple like are out or whatever, and you're like, fuck, well, we gotta try this guy. It's like, I know he probably has it, but I hate hitting him up because it's fucking always a thing,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know, I didn't want to create patterns that would be obvious for the school, like always seeing me and this guy like fucking coming and going at all times,
For sure.
Anyway, so we kept doing it, and like he also like let me in on some of his contacts, and like through him I kind of like got my own little side business going.
Nice.
And after a while, I think. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have my car for that long. Like, I wrecked my car in January, and I got it in March the year before or something like that. So I had it less than a year, I want to say.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
Let's do that.
It was.
This is the one you rolled?
It shined bright. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah. And you know, one of these days, if I ever like have a bunch of money to set on fire, I would love to fucking restore an old '83 GTI.
Yeah, relive the glory.
Exactly. Because I mean, like I said, it was maybe its best year. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I took it off road, like all kinds of abuse. It was bad. Like my dad's idea of teaching me how to drive on snow was telling me to pump the brakes and steer into a slide.
Yep.
I'm like, well, wouldn't you feel safer if I had snow tires? He's like, no, because then you'll never learn how to drive on snow.
He's kind of not wrong.
Yeah, and you know, he told me this story about like how he learned how to drive in the snow in a fucking like Plymouth with bald tires or some shit like that, you know. And I'm just like, all right, dude, I get it. I gotta be fucking tough.
Yep.
It's what I've heard my whole life. I'll figure it out.
Yep.
So, yeah. My car goes away. I'm working for my dad. It's like this is after high school, and I bump into Dan, and he tells me this story about this tank of nitrous that he's got. And I forget exactly how it came about. I want to say that we knew a kid whose mom was a dentist tech.
Whoa.
And he had somehow, like, hatched this super sketchy plan to fucking, like, break in and like, jack some fucking tanks of nitrous. That could have been a separate incident. I don't remember. I don't fucking know, but like
somehow he got his hands on this shit.
Yeah,
though?
like I don't know if he might have just known some deadheads who were like involved with the nitrous trade. I'm not sure how he got his hands on a tank of nitrous, but homie had a 6-foot tank.
Damn.
And apparently at some point when they were partying with this fucking tank, he had the bright idea to fill up a fucking hefty sack, put it around his head, and seal the bag with his hands around his neck and just like hyperventilate.
Oh.
And like, as you can imagine, started losing consciousness because he was standing up and doing this, and teetered and like fell back and hit his head right on the edge of a hearth, like right on the very back corner of his head.
Oh,
and,
dude.
Yeah, like ended up getting pretty severely injured.
Yeah, why would you do that standing up? Why would you do that? But why would you do it standing up?
Well, I mean, clearly there was alcohol involved.
Oh, Lord.
So, yeah, anyway, this was a wake-up call to him. And
wait, and this was your boy?
Yeah.
This was Dan?
This is the guy who just kind of... And like, I just kind of did the preface to show how I knew him. This is after high school, after I wrecked my car.
Because you guys weren't really buddies. You were just kind of like drug runners together.
Yeah.
Or weed, you know.
You know, we like had mutual friends. And
drug
like,
runners a real stretch. Like...
We were professional middlemen.
Yeah, quarter acquirers.
Yeah, we were nug pinchers.
Yeah, there you go. Nug pinchers. There we go. Dude, episode title.
Hell yes. But yeah, so, you know, that's how I knew him. And, like, we hadn't really been hanging out much, but, you know, we just kind of bumped into each other, like, downtown or, like, you know, at a mutual friend's house or something. He was just like, yo, like... I've got this fucking tank and I need to get rid of it. Like, will you just trade me some weed for it? And I was like, yes, I will.
Oh, so, okay, so I get it. So he has the tank minus what he did when he fucking zonked himself out.
Yeah.
And was like, all right, I don't need this anymore.
It was unclear how full it was.
Yeah.
I might be getting a good deal or a medium deal.
Right.
But he was like, will you just give me like 3 sacks of weed? And I was like, dude, yeah.
All right.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And so I did. And then I had a 6-foot tank of nitrous. And I was smart enough to know that I probably shouldn't have this fucking thing in my house for many reasons.
Yeah.
You know, one of which it being that it was almost certainly stolen from some medical facility, whether it was just a supply facility or an actual place that was where they use it. Who knows?
It's not very incognito either.
No, I don't think that there is any way that anyone can get a tank of medical grade nitrous oxide without stealing it somehow. So,
right,
you know, I mean, I'm definitely incriminating myself here, but this is all alleged and, for entertainment purposes.
Alleged, and if it even did happen, it was over 20 years ago.
Exactly. So anyway, we're going to cut that part out. But so I figured the best thing for me to do was to put it somewhere that was not my home. And I also didn't want to incriminate anyone else. And I kind of wanted it to be something that I would have to like go out of my way to do as well, because I didn't want to end up getting all cracked out on nitrous.
Right.
Like, now knowing a little more about it now, like, I don't think that it's as fiendish as I once thought it was. Like, I'd heard all these horror stories about, like, it makes holes in your brain and blah, blah, blah. And, like, turns out none of that's true. It's actually very safe. But
it is.
You just don't want to fucking do a ton of it all at once. And you definitely need to make sure you're mixing in some oxygen.
Yeah, I would say it's safe with a butt,
Sure.
But don't do...
when used properly,
actual fuck tons of it on the regular.
When used properly, the side effects are very minimal. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thankfully I had had a fear instilled in me of going too far with this shit. So I wanted to make sure I had to go some distance to use it. And so my plan was to go out on this BLM land and put this fucking thing underneath like a fucking 10-foot sagebrush. Which I did.
Nice.
And at the time, I was driving the urban assault vehicle,
right?
Which you may remember from some stories that I have told in the past.
Right.
It was a truck that was one of the company trucks for my dad's company, and it was held together with some duct tape and a prayer.
Yeah.
But who the fuck is gonna try to search through all the drawers in the back of that thing? Like, it's just full of fucking weird ass screws and nails and tools and shit.
Yeah.
So. And it had these like 6-foot drawers in the back that were for like levels and other big tools. So I just fucking stuck the tank in there.
There you go.
While I was transporting it. And then put it underneath this fucking sagebrush. Went and bought some fucking punch balloons, And because that was another rule that I made, was like, we're always going to do this out of balloons because I don't want anybody fucking passing out with the hose in their mouth.
Yeah, totally. Or the hefty bag over their head.
Yeah, that too.
As it would turn out.
Fucking A. So, for a little while, I mean, like, fuck, there was, I think, a week where I completely forgot about it. And, like, then I was like, oh, shit, right. Like, we should go out there and fucking hit this thing. And we'd always go out there at night, so it would be hard to see us. Because, I mean, fuck, dude, you're in the middle of a sagebrush field, like... people kind of stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I always wanted to do it like in the early evening or at night. And so, yeah, we just go out there and smoke some weed, fill up some balloons, and just like laugh our asses off.
Just roll around in the fucking brush. And,
it was a good time, man.
Sounds like a pretty good time.
Absolutely. Fucking stars up above, like.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous out there. And
how many times did you do this?
Several.
Yeah.
I mean, many times. Notable occasions include a time that I went with Doug, and I don't remember if we popped the balloons or if we forgot the balloons or if Doug was just being a dick. But at one point, I woke up from being passed out. Mind you, passing out was something that we were kind of trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, we would hyperventilate the nitrous oxide until we, like, collapsed, basically. But we would always do it sitting or lying down, so that wasn't a danger. And one time and we would do this thing that we called magic tricks for reasons that I don't remember, where you'd take a big fat hit of weed, you'd blow it all the way out, and then the next thing that you breathe is nitrous, and then you hyperventilate that into a balloon.
Yeah, there you go.
Almost guaranteed to make you pass right the fuck out.
Hell yeah.
Just from lack of oxygen.
Now, what did you and your friends call the take a hit of weed, while you're holding it in, you take a shot, and then you blow the hit out?
Well, we never did that. But
really?
Yeah.
We called it a shit man shit. Because when you would blow out your hit, it'd be like, shit man shit.
Yeah, I think at some point somebody tried to make me do one of those. They might have called it a strikeout. I don't. remember.
Yeah.
But like, we didn't really drink much back then. We were way more interested in psychedelics and weed and other shit, And so that that was never really a problem. And also, like, I had to drive the fucking truck to get out there, so like we weren't really drinking, we were just smoking.
Right. No, I just kind of meant
tripping,
in general. Like, have you ever taken a hit, then the shot, and then blow the hit out?
Probably. And
Yeah.
we might have even had a different name for it,
Yeah.
but it was so rare that it's not really a thing.
Yeah. I wish it was rare that we didn't have a name for it.
Well, and so at some point, I started getting sketched out about where it was. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was on the east side of town, and it was kind of far. And there wasn't really anything around there that, I could have a reason to be going to. And so at some point, I loaded this thing back up into the urban assault vehicle, and along with a friend of mine named Todd, we took off across town and, tried to fly real casual. And eventually we get to this other spot out in the woods that has all these back roads. It connects to BLM land, but it's actually on the property of the subdivision that my dad had built a house in. That was a model home that we lived in for a while. And we stashed the tank out there, and the gatehouse truck, or the gatehouse person, saw us. I think they were just tooling around back there, and they saw us turn onto the road and decided to follow us. And so what proceeded was just a fucking, you could play the Dukes of Hazzard theme in the background.
Yeah.
We're fucking spraying dirt, going around corners, fucking just...
you knew you were getting followed.
Oh, yeah, and, we decided to try to cut and run so, we didn't have to talk to them. Even though my folks lived out there, and I could just say, well...
Yeah.
We live here. And, my dad was building out there at the time, and, so yeah, we're just deciding to give him a chase for the hell of it. Also, just because we didn't want to have to come back. We were planning on fucking getting loaded out there. And we were just oh, this is a pain in the ass. Let's ditch him. And so,
man,
I fucking go over an embankment and just I'm just charging across open country, and they decide not to follow me because it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
But I know where I'm going, and also this truck can take a fucking beating, so...
Right, yeah, you don't care. Yeah, what's another hole in the Swiss cheese?
Right.
Yeah.
They're driving a nice Toyota pickup, so they're taking roads. Finally, we just take off into this clearing in the forest and park, and I'm let's just lock up the truck and bail. So we lock up all the doors, we grab water bottles and weed, and we just book it through the forest and find a log to sit on and smoke a bowl. And we can hear them a ways off, checking out the truck and talking, and
oh shit,
they eventually take off. And then
and who are these people? They're park rangers?
No, it's they work in the gatehouse of the subdivision. So there's a golf course and a lodge with or a bunch of different stuff that's part of the golf course, and then there's the subdivision that's a gated community.
Okay.
And so they've got a pickup to patrol in, and they were kind of patrolling the back roads.
I see. Okay.
When we came onto the scene. And so they take off, and
so they're not any real authority to speak of, though.
No, but they usually, if they see you back there, they'll tell you to fuck off. And they've caught me tooling around back there many times in my GTI, in fucking work trucks, just having fun, and so we fucking get back in the truck, and we go down this other road that I was planning on going down, and we stash the tank underneath this hollow log. And get kind of loaded for a minute, and then hop back in the truck and head out. And they're waiting where it turns back into paved road, and they're just oh hey, there you are. And I'm oh, how's it going? And they're did you see us chasing you? And I'm well, yeah, you guys were behind me for a little ways, but you're
just playing it off.
But then we turned off, and you guys went the other way. And the guy just starts laughing. And he's yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. We didn't really think we could go where you were going, but yeah, you're not supposed to be back there. I'm oh no, it's cool, my dad's a builder out here. This is one of the company trucks. We were just checking out the property, and he's like, yeah, well, nobody's supposed to go back there. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's it's not a big deal. Like, we're headed out now. And he's like,
Right.
okay, yeah, just don't go back there anymore. And I'm like, oh, don't worry about it.
Oh, man.
Which was just kind of my general attitude for, like, any kind of person who wasn't a cop back then.
Yeah.
Just, like, try to pretend like you belong there long enough to just get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we came back there many times after that, trying to drain the fucking thing. Like, after a certain point, it was like, yeah, we've had a lot of fun.
Well, so
with
how
this
did you
thing.
get past the fucking gatehouse then? All these subsequent times.
We just got unlucky that one time.
Oh.
They're almost never out there.
Oh.
And we started going. Like I said, it connected with BLM roads, so we started
okay.
going in through the BLM entrance.
There you go.
And just coming down, because I think where we ended up putting it was actually on BLM land. We just decided to go the Broken Top route because it was a shorter route, and we didn't care. But yeah, so like this was a much better spot. It had this fucking beautiful meadow that you could look out on. That you could see Mount Bachelor and Broken Top and South Sister.
Nice.
And there was this one day where me and Todd went out there and we were on acid, and we weren't really peaking anymore, but we were still pretty high, and like we were like smoking weed, and like we start hitting the balloons, and all of a sudden I have this thought. It's just crystal clear. It's a really simple, like 2 or 3 sentences run through my mind. And all of a sudden everything makes sense. Like my place in the world, how it all works, physics, fucking all the things just kind of lock into place. And I turn my head and I say something to Todd, which was basically what I had just thought, and his eyes light up and he agrees with me and has another little thing that he adds to it, and we're both just sitting there going, oh my fucking god, it all makes sense. This is amazing. And we're just kind of reveling in this awareness, this knowledge, and about 30 seconds goes by. And I go, man, I just forgot what we were talking about. And he's like, fuck, me too. And I'm like, but it was amazing.
We had it. We had the key right in our hands.
He's like, I know. I wish we had a tape recorder. Fuck.
Yeah. But it would have been not the key.
Almost assuredly, it would have been just my fucking linguistic center firing random neurons, you know?
Yeah.
But it was definitely like this sense of universal fucking peace and like awareness that I've attained at different moments in my life, and it's always fleeting, just like that.
Yeah, we used to call those moments like, touching God or making out with God.
Yeah,
where you're just like, yeah, dude. We're there. Like, we figured it out.
We got there.
Yep.
We got back to that place.
Yep. But it really is more of a sense than it is something that you can contextualize or write down or explain.
It's this whole thing, you know, that you can only hold in your mind for a very brief moment.
Yeah.
None of it actually makes linear sense when you try to.
And even when you do get those sentences out, it never really pans out later.
Nah. I've written stuff down. It's completely useless.
Totally.
But fucking thanks, Nitrous. That was a good one.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome, man.
Hell yeah. So eventually we burned that fucker out. It almost got to be a chore at the end where it's like, hey man, what are you doing today? I don't know. Well, like, we still got that tank of nitrous out there. Oh yeah, huh?
Do we?
I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about maybe doing something else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you change your mind, let me know. Like, I could drive us out there.
You guys want to just kick dirt instead?
Basically,
because I could go for kicking dirt right now.
It was fucking ridiculous. And that's why I say, like, who knows how much I actually got out of that tank. Like, I don't know how many balloons you're supposed to get out of a 6-foot tank.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, It was enough.
It was, yeah, it was enough.
It was plenty. And oh fuck! I think I forgot to tell one of the stories before I moved it. Did I mention Doug passing out with? No. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, before I moved this thing, and this is one of the reasons why I moved it. You know, we're out there smoking weed out in the sagebrush. I'm with Doug, and like I don't remember if we just didn't bring balloons or if we'd popped them or what. But I wake up from passing out. Oh, that's right. I started to get there.
You did, yeah, totally.
I wake up from passing out, and Doug's laying there on the ground with the hose in his mouth.
Oh no!
And his lips are blue.
Oh fuck!
Now it's nighttime, so like I'm like, well, are his lips just dark or like fuck?
Yeah.
And so you know, I turn off the gas, I pull the hose out of his mouth, and I slap him a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like, Doug, wake up! And eventually he's like, you know, the
like
fucking,
a tape winding up,
like the deep nitrous fucking
yeah, totally.
voice, you know. And I'm like, dude, I thought you were gonna die or dead or something. Like, why the fuck would you like lay there with the hose in your mouth? And he was like, I was fucking with you. And I'm like, no, you weren't.
Like, where are you? Where are you?
You fucker. This is why we use balloons. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, we got our one scare with the fucking tank.
Yeah.
And I never,
but that compelled you to move it?
well, it was one of the reasons. Well, because also, like, I would, you know, I'd get all fucking high and I'd, like, think that laying on a sagebrush was a good idea, and it felt good.
Oh, yeah.
Until I realized how fucking scratched up the back of my head was.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
you know, I'm just like, what are we doing? We're out here in the middle of, like, the desert.
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah.
get hurt. And so, you know, the place with the fucking grass and the hollow log and you
Yeah.
know, like seemed like a much better choice.
For sure.
You know, a little meadow instead of a fucking, you know,
Yeah.
high desert fucking clearing. You know,
Fuck, dude.
yeah,
That's so insane. So much nitrous.
oh my god, yeah. I mean, if I had to estimate, you know, easily over 100, if not several hundred balloons that we pulled out of that fucking thing.
Hell yeah. Oh man, I've got a friend of the pod that I won't mention names, but if they ever want to come on and tell some of their nitrous stories,
Hell yeah.
they've got some good ones.
Well, and for all I know, that tank is just still out there in the fucking log. Like, you know, we took off the... Oh, there was never anything on it. Was the other fucking scary thing is like... Oh, we took the hose off, right. We
Yeah.
just had like a shitty length of hose that was screwed onto it. And like, it was just a raw-ass fucking tank. Once it was done, where it's like, well, what the fuck? You know, like, we can't do anything with this. It's fucking evidence of theft, so...
Right?
We're just gonna fucking leave it here. So
Yeah. So
who knows?
Could be still sitting in that log.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Nitrous log.
dude, that is so wild. Man, that's fucking funny.
Yeah.